that's why I said the transition will not be based on elections. These things are already happening in the rooms which matter.
There was a time way back in St. Joseph College, Laibi, when we were for A-level agriculture lesson. And then the madam who was teaching started firing questions to the students. Then one boy who was coming from Kitgum was asleep. So she intentionally fired the question to him to wake him up. So after the boy woke up, the guy was like, and he was asked, stand up. The boy stood up and he was asked, why are we said to be more resistant than crops? So the guy was from sleep. He could not give a comprehensive answer. He ended up saying, because when you step on them, they stand up very fast. So instead of saying things like they grow very fast, they outcompete maybe in the sunlight, they're more resistant maybe to diseases and so on. Anyway, in this video, I'm going to take you through why Muhoozi's presidency is just a matter of time for now. The signs. Well, the first sign is the appointment as Chief of Defense Forces, the CDF. What happened and why it matters. In March 2024, President Museveni appointed his son, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, Chief of Defense Forces, replacing General Wilson Mbadi. That puts Muhoozi at the top of the Uganda People's Defense Force, that is UPDF, consolidating formal control of the military, the single most important national institution in any secession scenario. Observers read a CDF appointment as increasing Muhoozi's power, visibility, and capacity to influence security, logistics, and patronage networks that can matter in any transition. Caveat minus appointment does not equate to presidency. A senior military post helps build a power base, but it does not automatically translate into a lawful, popular, or uncontested shift to the presidency. MK movement rebrand as the Patriotic League of Uganda. So what happened and why it matters? The grassroots pressure group that began as the MK movement around 2022, which was most popular in Western Uganda, formally rebranded to the Patriotic League of Uganda, that's PLU, in early 2024. That rebranding converted a loose, fun grassroots network into a more organized civic structure that can mobilize supporters, run outreach events, and collect local organizers, the sort of network political aspirants leverage. Newspapers documented the PLU launch and explained its stated goals, that is patriotism, civic mobilization, and its practical effort of giving Muhoozi a named national vehicle for outreach. So the cover is PLU calls itself a civic suppressor group rather than a political party. Whether it becomes an electoral vehicle depends on legal registration and strategic choices. Well, allies placed into government administrative changes that look like rewards. When Muhoozi's elevation and PLU activity accelerated, Museveni's March 2024 reshuffle included junior minister roles and other appointments to people described in media as Muhoozi loyalists or PLU organizers. examples reported by national outlets, that both rewards supporters and places them in formal positions where they control resources and local patronage, a classic way to build a political machine. Loyalty network shift over time. Being an appointed minister helps politically, but doesn't on its own make a national candidate. PLU positioning as a de facto youth wing struck capture of NRM youth space. Muhoozi and PLU figures have publicly described PLU as a dynamic youth wing aligned with the national resistance movement, that's NRM, effectively occupying the youth mobilization space in the ruling movement. Well, that is important because the youth organization is a core electoral asset. Voters, volunteers, social media reach. Multiple press reports and Muhoozi's own post reinforce the framing. You must remember, rivals inside the NRM or old guard leaders can resist or co-opt that role. The label youth wing does not equal formal control of party machinery. There has been public directives, Muhoozi urging PLU members to subscribe to or work with the NRM. So, public reporting and Muhoozi's post shows he urged PLU members to join or work with NRM structures. Example, to contest primaries under the NRM ticket. That is a strategic route rather than set up a competing party and split votes. PLU activists move inside the ruling party, allowing a gradual takeover of local branches and candidates list. It's a textbook enter to transform tactic. Official NRM leadership and rank and file list have agency. Success depends on internal NRM contest and the ability to sustain discipline across local. PLU struck ML network, winning NRM primaries and capturing local posts. Press coverage documents PLU aligned organizers and supporters contesting and winning NRM primaries and party posts in several regions, and PLU figures being named to NRM positions. Winning primaries gives the network control over who stands in the general elections, which is critical for a long-term succession plan. The covert is primary wins are incremental. They matter most if they scale nationally and translate into general election victories, which depends on the completeness of those areas of national trends. That is, high public visibility and political messaging via social media and rallies. So, what happened and why it matters? Muhoozi has a large ex-Twitter presence and has used it for overly political messaging and mobilization. He also has held public rallies and events associated with PLU. High visibility builds name recognition and shapes narratives, security, youth patriotism that an eventual candidate exploits. Journalists have reportedly flagged his online persona as central to his political brand. The covert is visibility cuts both ways. Provocative posts have caused diplomatic rows and domestic backlash, which can weaken rather than help a mainstream presidential bid. He has also been engaging in provocative social media incidents that nevertheless kept him in public focus. In 2022, and so on, Muhoozi posted tweets about Kenya that prompted his removal as Land Forces Commander, though he was later promoted in rank and kept within the senior leadership. Subsequent provocative posts, talk threats, comments about opposition figures and foreign moves have kept him in the headlines. Politically, controversy can centralize attention, that is brand building, while also testing limits and loyalty within the regime and among external partners. So the covert repeats of diplomatic or human rights controversies can also limit international support and give domestic opponents ammunition, a risk to any transition plan. The PLU grassroots have also been there. There's PLU grassroots pressure, that is youth wings, publicly asking Museveni to allow retirement or political entry. Sections of PLU youth and regional PLU chapters publicly urge President Museveni to retire Muhoozi from the army so he can enter electoral politics. These public calls show both internal momentum and a narrative frame of people who want him, useful in building legitimacy chain, that is all claim beyond family ties. But remember, public calls from supporters are predictable. Real legal political entry requires retirement as formal exit from military and legal compliance. So the ask is necessary but not sufficient. Politicians have been speculating, commentators, that Muhoozi could lead before 2031 succession narrative. Multiple MPs, analysts, and opinion pieces have openly speculated that Muhoozi could be the successor. Some say before 2031. Public speculation from other politicians is important because it signals elite expectations. Elites shape transitions, and their expectations influence bargaining, appointments, and deals. The covert is speculation is not policy. Elite expectation can shift quickly if political costs change or if Museveni or other insiders opt for a different plan. Deployment of political heads into visible roles. Parliamentarians, regional chairs, NRM posts. Reports show PLU organizers and Muhoozi allies winning party posts, becoming regional NRM chairs, or securing parliamentary or party positions. These placements give the Muhoozi network formal levers of influence: candidate selection, local patronage, vote mobilization. The covert here is winning office is one step. Converting party post to a national presidential vehicle requires durable coalition building across diverse regions and policy platforms. PLU's stated platform and rhetoric, that is patriotism, good citizenship, anti-corruption. The PLU's public messaging emphasizes patriotism, national unity, and service, language that plays well within the NRM ideological frame and can be repackaged as national leadership rhetoric. This reduces friction with the ruling party and gives Muhoozi an issue platform that overlaps Museveni's legacy. The covert here is rhetoric needs policy credibility. Critics will probe whether the group is a genuine civic force or an electoral apparatus in the waiting. There's been high-profile and diplomatic delegations and operational leadership, which is building credentials. A CDF and Senior Presidential Advisor for Special Operations, Muhoozi has fronted high-profile delegations, visited foreign militaries, and overseen operations such as the Joint Operation Shuja in Eastern DRC. Those activities build a statement, that is Commander CV, regional security credentials, international contacts, that can be presented as executive experience for national leadership. UPDF and mainstream press reported his DRC visits, meetings with foreign generals, and trips to China, Rwanda, Kenya, South Sudan, and other partners. The covert is military or diplomatic credentials are persuasive to some constituencies, security veterans, regional highlights, but less decisive for urban voters worried about jobs and services. They can also alarm neighboring countries and foreign partners if paired with aggressive rhetoric. Well, there is tactical timing, publicly not contesting in 2026 while building for the medium term. Muhoozi publicly announced he would not appear on the 2026 ballot and endorsed Museveni, but kept building networks, that is PLU, NRM inroads, and appointments. That tactical retreat can be smart. It avoids an immediate intra-party rupture, preserves loyalty to Museveni, and gives time to build infrastructure and legitimacy for a later bid. Multiple outlets covered his announcement and the mixed reactions among supporters. These tactics also gives time to eliminate major threats. The covert here is choosing to wait as pros, avoiding immediate split and cons, gives opponents time to organize also, and succession expectations can evaporate if the principal leader changes strategy. So what these signs means together, taken together, the signals form a coherent pattern. Number one, an accumulation of formal power, that's CDF. Number two, a parallel civic political network, that's MK, PLU, that targets youth and NRM structures. Number three, displacement of allies inside government and party. And number four, active public messaging and international diplomatic visibility. That combination, institutional control, military grassroots network, PLU, and the allied placements, that is ministers, party posts, is exactly the set of assets political actors use to engineer a succession in semi-authoritarian systems. As some people suggest, each sign is individually useful. The combination is more telling. Sources like Reuters, AP, BBC, and major local outlets have repeatedly reported on those elements and their political significance. Look at the final caveats and what would change the assessment. The first one is the legal or constitutional constraints, which they can just do it very fast with the NRM caucus straight to parliament. And the fact is, a serving soldier remain key limits. To make a lawful presidential run, he had to leave active service and satisfy electoral rules. How and when that happens matters. Then the principle, Museveni still controls timing. Succession can be stopped, delayed, or redirected by the sitting president. Depends on a number of factors. There's also international reactions to controversial rhetoric, and domestic backlash can also blunt momentum. But I think that is less of what would worry Muhoozi or his supporters. So, Muhoozi's presidency, for now, unless a major twist occurs, is on the line, and I can say it is only a matter of time. Thank you.